All right, all right. Hello, hello, everyone. You're here for another edition of the One Eye Scout Show, powered by the One Eye Network. Catch us now. We got new TV channels that are embedded online at the oneeyescout.com. And tonight, we're shining a light on Coastal Bend. We got, there's two San Antonio point guards headed down there. San Antonio J. We got J. Jack, Jarrius Jackson, and Wagner High School, Jordan Thomas. And big thanks to tonight's presenters. We have Affordable Haulers. They helped us move into our new place. The Brunch Spot, Converse, and the Antler. They all support those, and we need to support those who support grass hoops. So this first segment is going to be brought to you by Affordable Haulers, fast, reliable, and fair. My friend Chris Garcia, you know, has done it up for us. We're gonna, Coach. Can you give us the quick identity statement for Coastal Bend hoops in one sentence?
Um, an up and coming place of opportunity in the best region in the country.
You know, we were talking a little bit before we got on air, and you talked a little bit about how we're able to get JUCO's in a great spot right now. And so what kind of standards are you holding close to on these new point guards that are coming in?
Well, I mean, they got to be the quarterback for me. They got to be able to see everything. They got to be able to get people in spots. They got to be able to not get sped up, for one. They got to be great communicators, and they got to get us in the flow. And it's a lot of ball pressure in this region, so that's a major factor. Make sure they make the right reads, not rushing shots, not taking bad shots, and making sure everybody's happy. Pretty much.
Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Well, yeah. Hey, look. Let me say first of all, Beeville, where you at? We got some man. Oh, not a myth, but a legend. Coach Brandon Martinez joining the show today. Hey, look, Coach. We know you're looking for big things to happen, and as Kevin just said, you got a couple of nice guys coming your way out of San Antonio. We were really high on them and like them. Um, but my question is, with the new rule in the NCAA Division One, to where now they're going to be doing the percentage partial scholarships, the percentages here and there. What's your thought on that?
Um,
As far as you as a JUCO coach being able to benefit from that, that particular ruling.
I think it gives people a chance to come and experience college life, the work that's involved, the grind of getting up in the morning, working out, going to class, doing classwork, doing study hall, and then coming to practice and then getting shots up on your own and then maybe getting another lift in. I think that life is something that's unique in college, and be able to do that and offer that the opportunity for a young man out of high school to do that and not have to waste some eligibility. Um, I think it's a great thing. Like I said, I think JUCO's in a great spot right now. Um, just in terms of you only here 2 years, you got to go. And most of these kids these days, they're only happy for 2 years. So I think we mesh very well in that aspect. And I'm curious to see how it's going to lead the prep schools. I'm really curious of how the development and results of all these changes and litigations are going now. What's going to do our prep? Because I love our prep. I love what they do. We got a couple of San Antonio that have very good relationships with. In anticipation of what's going to be the result of it in the next few years for preps.
You know, you got a follow up, Phil. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say, because I know that you've touched on the perimeter. You have a young man out of shirts that you had on your team and all. So do you think that this is just opening the door and you're going to have a good foray into the whole San Antonio high school basketball scene?
I hope so. I know we recruit the heck out of it. That's half the battle. The other half is getting the kid to come here. I've had a couple of kids that I had on the hook, and they end up going somewhere else far away, and I don't know why that is. I think it's something that Coastal Bend is building up on. I think we're improving every year, and I hope that San Antonio starts to look our way. We don't have to fight as many recruits coming up from Dallas. Like they've got all those schools they've got to filter on to get to us. So I'd love to be able to recruit San Antonio successfully, even more so than I have already. But we're definitely putting our fishing pole in the pond and trying to grab as many San Antonio kids as we can. I mean, it's just a battle, with what we have to deal with. Sometimes sometimes we lose on kids that we really really want. But
Yeah.
I think
You
it's going
know,
to improve.
Phil, Coach Martinez and I go back a few years, and that was one of the first sentences out of his mouth was, or questions was, "Hey, let's build a pipeline from San Antonio to
Absolutely,
Beeville."
I'm trying.
You know, it's,
I'm trying.
hey,
Yeah.
so tell me, what did Jordan Thomas, what did he bring to your eye to bring to the program?
His work ethic, the kid works nonstop. We had him down here for camp, and he was in the weight room the whole time. And when he wasn't in there, he was getting shots up. He's just trying to get better. Conditioning, he's in there running 55 sprints with us and finishing. And then the second thing about it, to me, the most important, he's got a good family. His mom and his
Yeah,
dad, they're very approachable. They're very open-minded. They talk about anything, and they're very, very down-to-earth people. I really enjoyed conversations with them. And the young man they raised is a great young kid. I'm really excited about him coming here this year.
Hey, but
yeah.
coach, oh, I'm sorry, Kev. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, man, after following Jordan since his freshman year, I've seen the growth and the improvement year after year. Uh, I remember some of his trainers telling him that he trained too much, and that became a bone of contention for a while. But I don't know anybody that doesn't love his work ethic,
Yep.
and so it kind of leads me into another point guard that you got here, Jarrius Jackson, and J Jack blew up between his junior year and senior year.
He did.
His body changed, his game accelerated, and I think he gave a lot of nod to trying to play more like he watched a lot of film of his dad
Hmm.
when he was at Texas Tech. So how does J Jack fit your blueprint?
I mean, the kid finishes everything. I really love that about him. His finishing package is on the level of Kyrie, at high school. And so the kid can score the ball. There are certain plays that we were at the All Star game watching him, and there was a couple of plays that stuck out to me that weren't shots, and probably most people don't recognize or pay attention to. There was a play he missed a shot instead of him just getting back. He tried to incorporate himself and getting on defensive deflection, and he got the steal and it made a bucket and one. Like it was those kind of plays are what we call championship plays, and he makes a lot of those plays. And he's just a really smooth criminal is what I call him, the smooth criminal, because he really can handle his weight in terms of defensive, but then he's going to really make you work offensively to stop him because he's really hard and slippery and to stay in front of. His his pick and roll game is elite, and that's what drew my attention to him the first time I saw him play because we play a lot out of the pick and roll, and he really is crafty with that, reading that action. So I think he's going to have a really good fit for here for us.
That's great, man. He's one of my favorites. He's got an insatiable smile,
Yes,
and
yes, he
Yeah.
does.
And that's kind of my question is that I was going to ask what stood out to you about J Jack, aside from his hair. Um, I, I, I always, I always like his little style with his hair. But is he going to have that green light to shoot that rock, coach?
We'll see. I mean, I don't,
Okay.
I don't really, I don't really give anybody a green light till they earn it. So we'll see.
I hear
I
you.
can't tell, I
Okay.
can't tell you one way or the other. I know he can shoot in high school. I don't know what it looks like with a 6'7" guy bearing down on him at the JUCO level. We'll see pretty soon here, though.
Right. I got you.
you know, uh, this is one of the ones I like, man, because now we're talking about spacing. We're talking about reads. We're talking about winning possessions, and it's always a win when I get the brunch spot because they're always serving up sunshine.
Mm.
So let me know what kind of reads, non-negotiable reads in the early offense are we looking at for these guys?
I mean, last year, and it changes every year with personnel. I don't have a style that I'm attached to or married to, so it'll change as personnel gets in here and develops. But in the past, I'd like to shake option first, with getting the ball screen. However we get into it, whether it be a kick ahead or we push a guy through. But usually, the main thing for me is just flipping the floor, making sure we get both sides touched first, and keeping that defensive off balance. That's important to me. Anything as far as backdoor slips and or immediate reads that we can get off of that, we'll go to it. But like I say, it changes every year with personnel. I'm not married to offensively. My defense now that's going to be the same every year. But offensively, we kind of cater to the personnel that we have, and that comes from being a high school coach. That's kind of what it was, and I kind of got used to that style. But we still recruit with the intentions of doing some certain things. But when they get here, it might completely change. So we'll see pretty soon here when they move in.
Yeah, you know, both of them can rebound and push the ball ahead.
Hmm.
In your program, in your system, what does that look like, and why does it matter?
I think it matters because you can play really good defense and give them an offensive rebound, and that's not good defense. All that work that you just did is just deflating when they get an offensive putback like that. Um, what was the first question? Why did what it
Oh,
looked
just
like?
the
I
yeah.
mean, we rebound heavy on the elbows from the corner, so my guards are going to be in the elbow area. We have different positions and spots on the floor when the ball goes up that we need to be in, and then different styles of having to like tag the rebound so that we can pick up immediately once the rebound is had. We're immediately right up in you. We'll ball pressure the whole game. So that's kind of the style we'll play this year. It's not been that way the last couple of years just because of personnel, but we really brought some guys in there that really want to defend the floor the entire time, the whole way. So it's going to be really exciting. I finally get my guys that in the style that I like to play here this year. So I'm really looking forward to what it can look like.
Yeah. Hey, coach, analytics on other levels of the game playing such a big role in how it's played, but for you in the JUCO scene, um, what where are we at? Are we on the 3-point shot, the low post game,
Uh, I'm
mid
I'm a
range?
low post guy. I'm traditional. I'm not going to force feed it, but I do like some 5 out action. We got a lot of European style actions that we like to run. But I'm late in the game when I need a bucket. I'm going to the post. I'm getting a rip screen across the paint, and I'm getting a paint touch. I'm definitely inside out guy, but I'm not averse to playing a 5 out style. We got a mismatch, or we're playing against a zone D. We're gonna shoot you out of it, and so I think we're really versatile with what we have we brought in that we can kind of do those type of things this year.
Okay, coach. Well, I think just gave you the answer to the late game action that you'd go to. That would be your
Yeah,
go-to
if you if
move.
you you know if you're scouting us, it's not going to be hard to tell what we're going to do. But I've always said a great play is one that you know is coming, but you still can't stop it. So that's kind of what we do.
Yeah,
I can give you the playbook, and you still can't stop it because I think what we have and the personnel that we have in those places are pretty unstoppable. And so yeah,
I love a low post
we have a
game.
couple. We have a couple. We're trying to develop them a little more and get that bag a little heavier than it is. But we have a few guys that can really make an impact in the paint for us this year.
Coach, you kind of look around, and what do you think was unique about San Antonio guards this year that you took two of them?
They can shoot. They can shoot flat out. You know, the part that is I'm still on the fence about is the physicality. Because every time I go to a game, it's referee different in San Antonio than it does in Dallas or Houston. So I think that does a disservice to the kids when they get here and it's really physical and they're not getting calls. But flat out, San Antonio kids can shoot the ball.
Yes, yes, that I agree. Some off court characteristics or academic habits about these two.
I we'll see.
I guess they
Again,
haven't moved in yet. Yeah.
yeah, they haven't moved in yet, so we'll see how they're able to handle and juggle things. But we do a really good job, me and Jack, of being in their space a lot academically. We're always in and around their portfolios and their homework. We line up their weeks up, for them to be successful. And to be honest with you, like basketball is great and it's fun, and I love it. I don't know what else I would do if I didn't have it. But at the end of the day, education changed my life, and so that's my goal as a teacher. I taught for 12 years in the Houston School District, so I really put a lot of value on academics. So that to me is the most important thing because everybody can have a degree. Not everybody can play for money, and so that's kind of what the aim is. These guys come here with the intention of playing for money or playing to another level, playing for a free education. But at the end of the day, it's not possible for everybody. So we really put a good thumb on our academics, and we've kind of proven that with our GPA of 3.5 the last 3 years. And so that's only going to continue to get better. This group of guys, we're really going to have our hand in the mix a lot with a lot more study halls, and because we've got a little bit bigger of a roster. And so we're really going to have our hands full as far as academics go. But the guys we brought in are high character kids, and I think they get it. I think they all pretty much get what they're here to do, and it's not basketball. They can play, yeah, that's God given, but academics is going to get them paid a lot more than they will basketball, and that's what we preach every day.
Yeah, hey, Coach, with Jarrius and Jordan, you haven't had a chance to really like get your hands on them, but
Right.
from what you've seen, in watching them and the video on them, walking in, day one strengths, and then what's that thing that each of them you feel is going to need to work on?
I've been a part of a lot of teams, and I'll say this, and I was telling Jack this earlier today, like these guys are never going to come in to the level of strength or condition that you expect. And so it's a different level. We had both of those guys in for summer camp, and they stayed the night a few nights, and we put them through the grind. And they really responded by working hard. They're not where they need to be. They're not where they're going to be in 3 months, but they have a good start, and they have a good vision for what they want of their own bodies. And I think they're gonna rise to the occasion when we ask them to do the things that we ask them to do, in the midst of going to class, waking up and doing hell month. All those things are going to wear on their bodies, but I think those guys are gonna thrive here.
And that's great, man. And so I know just by the numbers, I know there's a lot of high school coaches in San Antonio that are watching tonight. Um, what's a message to them for the kind of prospects that should call you?
They need to be tough. They need to be gritty. I watch a lot of body language in games. I watch how they come out of games, how they go into games, a bad call, a missed call. All those things are of value to me because when it's a crunch time, I got to be able to trust you. And emotions are really a thing that I think this generation is really struggling with, of how to separate the emotion with the business side of it. And they don't really get to the business side of things until they get to where I'm at or above me. College it really separates those guys who can treat it like a business and treat it like and remove the emotional aspect of feeling some kind of way about a call or feeling some kind of way about a missed shot even. I see shoulder shrug on a missed shot in a lot of high school games. And if you can't get through a missed shot or you can't make it through a sub, you're going to have a really hard time playing because most of these guys that we get are the guy, and when they get here, they're just a guy. And so they have to kind of adjust to that kind of mentality. And it's something that most of these guys that we have never had to deal with. And so that first month is a little bit difficult in terms of mentality. But we have a really understanding and patient approach to that. And I think it's been working for us. And guys know that we care about that mentality part, and they start to understand what it is. And I think it helps them, not basketball wise, but I think it helps them just being a man. As a man, we can't have a whole lot of emotions about that. We just got to get it done or not. And if they don't get it done, enough next man up. That's what it is. And some life as a man is tough, and we talk about that all the time here. So I'm really eager to see how they can handle those adjustments coming from high school being the guy to being just a guy here for us.
All right, so I got two Well, I got more questions, but two that are sticking out right now. All right, so we know that guys aren't where they need to be. So give me one or two conditioning benchmarks so these current seniors that are going, so they can have a mindset of what you're expecting on day one.
I'm expecting effort and willingness. I'm not expecting you to make the times in the first month, maybe in the first couple of weeks. I don't expect that. So I don't think that's fair for me to do that. But I do expect them to be willing. I do expect the effort to be everything they've got. But some of the benchmarks that we have, we run what we call pacers, and it's 5 wall touches or 10 wall touches, five up and downs in a minute 10. Most guys can't do that. Jordan, I will say this: Jordan came here for summer camp and he made one. We run at least 10 in a practice, and so he made one. I was kind of impressed about that because I haven't seen too many guys come from high school be able to do that. And so we do a lot of that, those kind of mentality of just pushing your limit, conditioning things here. So I would say, high schoolers right now, get on the track, run 10 miles, 3-5 miles a day. Get your miles up because it should be called track, not basketball. That's what it is.
All right, man. So part of JUCO reality, we'll talk about recruiting and placement and all that piece. But we talked about the jamborees. It's going to be these guys' first look at at live action.
Yeah.
And grown man bodies coming at them. You said you headed up to Norman, Oklahoma, and then Mullins out in Carrollton. What should these guys? I guess they just kind of mature with your team, or is there something that you're going to tell them before they hit the floor with another team, or
I'm not. I'm not sure there's something I can tell them that they don't need to already know. When the guys that we get here, they have a vision for them for their future, and they know that when we go to Norman, and this is probably the only thing I'll say to them: hey, that guy's across from you, wants your job, the same job that you want, he wants too. And there's 13,000 jobs available at the next level, whether it be NAI, D3, D2, D1, and there's a million kids trying to get those jobs. So if that's not motivating enough for you, I can't help you.
Well, them two both know our slogan well that it ain't for everybody.
No.
So they better be ready and bust their ass.
Indeed.
All right. So now that some more of this prep, what's the biggest things that 4-year coaches ask you about guards?
How they handle bad times, how they handle getting subbed out, how they handle being corrected. Those type of things are big, and they're key. They're key to tell how a kid's character is going to be when he's in the fire, and that's important because we got to be able to trust you in a late game situation when things may not be going your way. You may have a bad year, and the score's lopsided. How are they going to finish? That film does not lie. So the way they look in the film, and we've had some games. I think Fanola had twice where we weren't in the game, and I'm looking at the guys in the huddle on a media timeout. I'm like, hey. This is film time. Like, you got to look good on film because what's going to happen is I'm going to send this film out, and it's a whole game film, and they see you slouching and not having good body language. They're just going to cross your name off, and that's opportunity. We talk a lot about opportunity here, and that's what it is. I know these guys aren't here to stay for a long time, but they better be here for a good time, and they better be here locked in. And so we talk about that a lot. I just think I think character is evident, especially when you're in the fire. Like, it's going to show, and we really are preaching body language here. So that's really the first conversations we have with the 4 years. How is the kid's character when it's crunch time, when he's not getting the things he wants or expects.
All right,
Coach. Nowadays is a branding game, right? So how do you get that player to understand? Because he's looking to advance on from that JUCO, right? How do you get them to show themselves to where they're looking at trying to get to where a 4-year coach is going to want them, but yet stay and play within your system and being that good teammate?
Right. Well, playing in our system, that's easy. The bench is a great motivator. So if they don't want to play the style we play, we'll put another guy in there. So that's one answer. The other answer I'll tell you right now is it's tough. It's tough to get them on that page if they don't have that mentality already. And we've had the situations before where they didn't want to get right. And again, it's a lot of film watching. They don't some a lot of kids I've learned over the years, they don't know what they're not doing or what they are doing. So the only time they ever get to know that is when you watch film with them and you kind of point out, because we don't have the same eyes. We're not looking at the same things as the coach, as the player. They're looking at different things. So when we sit down and we watch a lot of film, we kind of point out what needs to be done and what needs to be fixed. We're very transparent here. We don't hold anything back. Some of those conversations are rough. I'll say a lot of those conversations are rough, but they're needed, and they're always given a solution. Now, after that gets outside the solution, if they still don't get it, then like I said, the bench is a great motivator, and we put them on it, and we watch and let them watch somebody else that wants to get right. So I think film is important, very, very important.
You know, kind of setting expectations. What's a successful year look like for a freshman? Is it minutes? Is it growth? Is it impact?
For me, it's impact, it's growth. And impact doesn't mean game impact. It means just impacting the practice, impacting the classroom, impacting the chemistry outside of the court. Those things impacting the community. We're big on that. So to me, a successful first year for a freshman is pass all your classes, make sure you handle that well, and then make sure you're growing in terms of removing the emotions out of the business. Because like I said, that is probably the number one obstacle that I face every day is the emotional aspect of feeling some kind of way about every single thing. You'll be surprised at how often I have to correct in a practice just the emotional side of things at first month. Um, I don't know how it's got to be that way. Maybe it's always been that way, and social media's kind of multiplied the scrutiny on it. But that to me is a key thing, because if you can get past the emotions, you can make some motion. We say I got a shirt that says drop the E, and you get the motion. And that's kind of what we spend a lot of time that first month in, because when you can drop that emotion and you can just get to work, you can get so much better so quick. And so that's really our focus, and that's really kind of what we've hung our hat on the last few years.
All right, for one more question, Phil, and I'll let you go. But
Okay.
what's
Yeah.
what what's one
No, I
home
said,
game that we need to circle?
Home game, I gotta go. I thought about this all day, and I got two on that I want to circle. I'm gonna give you two. One is against my brother at Kilgore when he comes here. Okay, you gotta circle that. You gotta circle that date. I give you the date. I'm
All right.
looking at it right now. It's gonna be January 31st. Okay. The second one you gotta circle is the number one team in the country coming in on February 18th, Trinity Valley. I got my mind on set on that. We had them down. We had them. We were down 5 points with 7 to go last year at their house, Howell
Hmm.
House. Howell House versus Coastal Bend, and we had them down 5. We were down 5 with 7 minutes to go. I think this year's gonna be a little different.
All right. Go ahead, Phil.
yeah, coach. Hey, look, you look. I mean, you're so effervescent and all, and and I tell you, you're getting the good players and really building a nice program there. How can this San Antonio community follow you? Streaming wise, whatever way, follow you, so that they can see what's going on, and possibly even more people will say, hey, I may want to try and get down at Coastal Bend.
That's an obstacle that I face. How do we get more, butts in the seats?
Yeah.
How do we get a little bit more publicity and exposure for Coastal Bend? I don't know. I think this is a great step in the right direction. You're getting on a podcast with a local legend, or two local legends. I think that's a step in the right direction. I'm not a big podcast creator myself, so I'm not familiar with all how the aspects of going that are involved with it. But I like to be on more of them. I'd love to be the talk of the town when it comes to San Antonio, Alamo City hoops, and all those things. I'd love to be a centerpiece, because I think we do a lot for these kids that are in our backyard, to have a place, a home, for opportunity. And like I said, the greatest and toughest region in the country right now. And so I think it's only going to get better. I don't know, other than time, um, in consistency. I don't know how much more we can do on our part, but I would love to. I'd love some ideas, and I'd love to champion those as we get deeper into San Antonio. I'd love to get my foot even further deep in there. I love the area. I love the food. I love the women there. It's all great. I guess everything about San Antonio is wonderful. So I'd love to get our foot in the door a little more in regards to being like podcast streaming. We stream our games live. Huddle Fan. If you download Huddle Fan, you can follow our games. Everywhere in the country they have a stream, so I definitely make sure that I get that out more. Follow me. I'm approaching 3,300 followers. I like to get to 5,000. So follow me, and we keep updated. We market our guys like crazy. The graphic work is insane, and so we're doing our best. But I think just time is the answer.
All right, Coach. You get one final message to San Antonio as these two kids head off to Coastal Bend, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay. Don't forget about us. Don't sleep on us. Coastal Bend has arrived. Um, we can only improve. That's what I'm gonna say. We've been around since 1965. My first year here, we won more games than we ever have in those years since then. My second year here, we won the second most games. Last year was an anomaly. This year, we're gonna win the most games again. So I really think we're trending in the right direction. But don't sleep on Coastal Bend. We're here.
Well, man, I liked you before we got on this, but I'm excited for the season to come. Just to see that, see what happens, man. I love the colors. That's the first thing that I always look
Right.
at when I look at a school, man, and those are great. But we appreciate you for joining us. Uh, we want to shout out Affordable Haulers, the Brunch Bar, and the Antler, and we'll keep in touch, man. Because I
Coach,
really want since you go ahead,
no,
Phil.
I just want to say, Coach, promise us that sometime, some point during the season, you'll come back and have a good conversation with us.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you. I mean, I appreciate everything you guys do for the city and for me. And I don't know if you know this, but this helps me too. It helps my recruitment. All these things that give us exposure. It helps us tremendously. And we've been in the dark in the past, and now we're not going to tolerate that anymore. We're in the limelight. We're putting our foot forward. We're gonna make some changes. We're gonna make an impact down in the South. I think we're the toughest team in the South. I think we put on the best show in the South. Everybody that comes here, they dread it. They dread coming to the den every night. Ask Shoemaker over at Blend. He knows. He knows what it's about. And so I would love to get on again. I love the conversations. We can go on forever. Just let me know when you want me back on, and we'll get it done.
All
We'll
right.
get it done, man. We'll get it done. All right, we're gonna head out. Appreciate it, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.